What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to this topical video here on Anfield Agenda that I hope will help get you through the international break. Look, let's be honest, I know you're all missing me dearly while I'm on holiday. He says, hopefully, with that look in his eye. But either way, I didn't want to leave you guys high and dry while I was away, so I recorded a series of videos. And today, I'm going to be talking about a way that I think that we could soup up the FA Cup a little bit, make it a little bit more sexy, make it a little bit more appealing to the new generation. It is the oldest and most historic League Cup competition in world football, so I think it deserves a little bit better treatment. And I have an idea that I think may work. So I'm going to pitch it to you over the next few minutes, but as always, I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section. Drop a like on this video if you enjoy it. And of course, would love you to hit that subscribe button. I'm recording this Saturday, 27th of September in preparation for my time away. But I want to remind you guys as well to check out the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp channel. It's where we post in the links to all of our player ratings videos. And also we have polls in there, news updates and everything that we hope keeps you fully up to date as a Liverpool fan. So look, I grew up in Ireland and the FA Cup over here obviously doesn't have the same nostalgic feel as perhaps it does to people in the UK. So we often talk about the domestic cup competition sometimes as almost a hindrance to football. There's been talk in the past about should we do away with the League Cup? What changes could we make to free up the calendar? And the FA Cup is a tournament that I, as a fan, am not really fussed about one way or the other. If you win it, great. But like I've said to you guys many times, to me, my preference for the two domestic cups has always been the League Cup. So I've been thinking about what could you do to make it better. Now, for the FA Cup, I don't think the prize money is great for it. I don't think the prize of getting into Europe is enough to get into the Europa League. I think you could ratchet it up a notch. So what I would like to see happen is the winners of the FA Cup get a Champions League spot. I know that may sound a little bit nuts, but the reason I feel so strongly about it now is now we have probably 5 places for Premier League clubs most seasons in the Champions League. The coefficient of English football is so high that more often than not, it looks like there will be a 5th place. If somebody wins the Champions League, heck, there could be another one. So for me, I think winning the FA Cup and getting that pathway into the Europa League, it's not great. I don't think it's enough reward to win an individual competition. And the Champions League isn't just about winning the league anymore and the champions going into it. As we know, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th. So I want to put it to you good folks that winning the FA Cup could be worth putting a place in the Champions League. I think that it would re-galvanise the competition. I think it would give clubs even outside of the top division a chance. Like, I know more often than not it's a Premier League club that wins the FA Cup. But just imagine the romanticism of a club, let's say, like Cardiff City, who maybe had a run in the FA Cup one year, go and win the final. Imagine them, even within the Championship then, going in to play Champions League football and the journey that would be for the club and the riches that would entail. I think it would allow clubs to dream even more. I don't know if you agree or disagree with me, and I fear I'm probably in the minority here, but I do think it would be a really good way to jazz up the competition and make it a little bit more rewarding. Because, you know, within the League Cup financially, the rewards aren't really there. I think, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think it's 150 grand or something like that. Not sure the exact prize money for the FA Cup, but imagine how seriously everybody would take it from even the earliest of rounds, knowing that it could be a way into the Champions League. Even just look at it from a Premier League perspective. We had teams go and win it like Crystal Palace. I know Crystal Palace ended up getting shafted with the ownership rules and ended up in the Europa Conference League. But imagine this season, they were in the Champions League because of that FA Cup win. In the past, we'd seen Portsmouth win the FA Cup. The romanticism of one of those clubs being in the Champions League, I think, would be exceptional. And yes, it would be to the detriment of one of the bigger established clubs. But isn't that one of the arguments anyway against modern football? It's that it's all sewn up over the course of a 38-game season. More often than not, the cream rises to the top. The jeopardy is of a cup competition is that anything can happen. You have historic cup runs. You have people that go further in it than you think. Like, nobody would have thought Crystal Palace were going to win the FA Cup last year. So imagine now we had a situation where, let's say somebody like going down through the divisions, Brighton. Let's say this year Brighton won the FA Cup. Imagine the buzz for their fans to go on that big European adventure to the top tier clubs, to your Barcelonas. We've seen them try to reinvent European competition by putting in the Europa Conference League, so there's now a three-tiered competition. Well, English football could do that themselves by mixing it up and giving the, I don't like to use the word minnows, but some of the lesser clubs the opportunity to have a shot at the Champions League. And the money that comes with that could help re-establish that club and push them further up the football table or pyramid. I think it's a really good idea, and I think it's a really fun idea. And with the extra place that is now awarded most seasons to the Premier League clubs, I know they didn't get it last year, but this year with the coefficient, they got the 5 places in it. So the top 5 in the league got in there. I think this would be a great way to mix it up again. You know, the early rounds of the FA Cup, sometimes it can be a little bit monotonous, and often we want the giant killings. We want the teams coming from the non-league, going as far as they can, getting the big away days, making a few bob. But imagine the real carrot at the end of that stick was Champions League football. And a club from the Championship or the lower end of the Premier League maybe having that one season that could change the direction of their clubs and give the fans a real opportunity to dream. Maybe even attract in better players then in that summer going into the next season where they know they've Champions League football. And isn't that what football fandom's supposed to be about? Dreaming. Leicester City winning the Premier League is still being spoken about because it's one of the greatest historical upsets in sport. 5,000 to 1 at the start of the year. Why not give somebody else the chance to do that? Why not make the FA Cup the chance for a great unknown? A huge shock, a surprise that could shape up English football, shake it up and give a new set of fans a chance to dream. Football has played a huge part in the way football is now, and finance, has played a huge part in the way football is now, and money involved. It really just closes off certain things. They tried to close off the Champions League completely with the Super League nonsense. Well, let's shake it up a little bit in a different way. Let's give other sets of fans a chance to dream. Let's give other owners that pot of Champions League money. And let's make the FA Cup sexy again. So that is my pitch to you. Now, I want to know from you guys in the comments whether you agree or you disagree with it. Some people might think it's a great idea. Others might think he's done it now. He's finally lost the plot. After all these years, he's made the video that's done it. Maybe it is. But I do think it needs something because it doesn't seem to have the same romanticism as it did to others when I was growing up, where the FA Cup was one of the big trophies. It feels now, to many people from the UK, it is still that way. But from the outside perspective, it doesn't seem as appealing to me. I would dare say maybe not to our friends in America or Australia or in other parts of the world. So over to you. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Stroke of genius or madness. I'm looking forward to coming back to see you all after the international break. And of course, I'm currently away sunning myself after, a very busy start to the season. So looking forward to your comments. As always, I appreciate your support so much, and thank you for sticking with us through thick and thin. Well, not much thin in this one, but you get me anyway. We'll talk soon. Bye bye.